A few days ago, a guy asked me on YouTube about using bones for animating the wheels of a car, and he's kind of doing a scene like on the Back to the Future movie. And I told him that in that situation, I just want to recommend using nulls, although it's not that you can't use bones. It's in fact you can do a pretty good job with bones too. But I like to keep things simple, and I like to use nulls. And so I have a little scene that I've got here, and I've got this car which I took this model off the internet, and I'll be doggone if I can remember who I got it from, but they did a real nice job on this car that I'm using as an example. And basically, this is all about rigging and how to set up your car. So what we've got here is in the scene editor, I've got a master null, which is used to control the car. You don't really have to use it, but I make it a habit of using this master null for an object to move around in the scene. And with it, I've got parenting. Everything is parented to this, so you can, when you move this in world space, everything else follows along with it. That is a child of the parent. And so I have this steering null, and this steering null is what will turn the wheels. So when I've got it set up here so that when I want to steer the wheels, I've got this set up. And because this is the Back to the Future car, and I can't quite recall what the way the wheels went on that scene. I know what he's talking about, but I can't recall exactly how they did it. So I just did one, and basically what I did, if you see that, I used the steering null to operate the wheels in that situation too. And excuse me. So what I want to do is just kind of demonstrate how I've got it set up and how easy this really is, because with each null and setup, I've got a wheel which I have hidden, or in just the box, the bounding box. And then in this particular car, it has a brake setup, which in this example I didn't really rotate the brake disc, but it's pretty easy to do. So and that in turn are connected to nulls, and I call the let me see if let me do the other one. This is the front brake null that I have designed to rotate the actual wheels for the Back to the Future scene. So when I've got it connected to the bank, so when I use this control, I control not only the front steering but also the wheels. And in this situation, I'll show you how. Let me take the wheels themselves are also set up, and I used let's see if I can get this to come up. Yes, I used relativity, which is right here, ask a professor and you can do the Dr. Wheel Rotator. And in this example, I measured the diameter of the wheels, which is 0.71 meters, and I simply plug that in and to the professor there, and it spits out this because I'm operating the tire on the pitch, so it goes in the pitch, what do you call it, slot here, so that that's all there is to it. And when you finish that, you just hit continue, and then with the master, as it goes, it just rotates the wheels. And if you watch up here in this window, you'll see. I think you'll be able to see it here. Let me try this. Yeah, you'll see it. See there, and that's pretty handy because you don't have to mess around with wheel skidding and everything. So that's pretty simple on that. And now that is parented to the brake, and then the brake is parented to this null, because ordinarily I just use the brakes, and it has the way it's set up is it's connected to the steering, which is here. And so what I got to do is I got it set up for the rotation. Rotation item is the steering null, and it's working in the heading, so which is this red ring here. So I've got it set for same as item, and so when I did it, I just set the steering so it's got limits on this. So the max amount, I got 60 degrees of rotation on the steering, with 30 degrees on each end, so that when I rotate, it doesn't go too far. So that's how that's set up. And each one of these is the same, except yeah, that's right, for the steering. That's just for the steering. And then back wheels don't have that, because they're normally I have them on one layer, but in this case I have them on separate layers in order to achieve the other movement that's involved in the Back to the Future scene. So in that case, they're both linked in rotation to. Oh, let me go to the null. Well, that is the null here. I got it. The null, which is everything is parented to, is also the rotation item is a steering null, and I've got it heading same as item. And in this case, max is 90 degrees. So when I move it, it goes out flat. But if you notice here, I've got it following the bank. And this is the left-hand side, so I have it -1. The other side would be negative. Let me see here. Would be just +1, like that. And it also goes on the. I just switched the min max on this for 90 degrees for the max, and 0. So that's pretty easy on that. So the whole idea is to keep things simple. So this is parented to this. and all these are parented to the body, and the body is parented to the null. So it's a pretty straightforward thing, and this steering null, I actually can't see it, but that way you don't have to deal with the bones, and bones sometimes can cause problems and issues, and nulls are simply reference points in space, and you can parent things to nulls, and with the parent-child relationship and the rotations, which are relative to the pivot points. So if you have a wheel that you want to rotate, you have to make sure that the pivot point is where you expect it to be, and you can do that in the I believe it's, yeah, you can move the pivot on this with this tool, and it will, and you move it to there, to wherever you want it to be, to rotate, and it will honor that rotation. And I found in the past, especially LightWave, is when you set pivots in Modeler, they don't always follow through to layout, and you end up having to use this tool anyway. So I haven't checked lately on whether or not it still has that bug or not. I'm using 2015.3, so that's how this is all working. So when I got this going, I've got, in this scene, I've actually got the got this camera is actually parented to the I believe it's, let me see, it's to the master null. So it's following in the scene, and that way you can see the wheels actually rotating. And as I turn a corner, it turns. Well, that's a little wonky there, but I think when playback it works fine. And then at the end of the scene, I have it going like that, and so I have. Let me see if I can get that focused. Yeah, there we go. So that's just, hopefully this will help you with your question about setting up your car, because you were concerned about getting the wheels to rotate properly and at the same time have that second. So if you pivot, make sure you have your pivot points on your wheels, and then you can pivot, then you parent that wheel to a null, and then you can use the null in an offset position, which I'm not sure if I can show that. Let me get it back. And I want to do the yeah, if you look at this situation here, you'll notice that the null is offset from the center, and this allows you to this allows the wheel to rotate off center, because you've got it parented to the null. So you rotate the null, and the child will follow the rotations. So that's the little secret to that, how that works. So I hope you got a little bit of something out of this. I say with the newer tools in LightWave, you can actually get pretty crazy on these suspensions and stuff on these car rigs and stuff. But this is just a little simple thing. This is something pretty easy to set up, pretty quick, and it achieves about 90% of what you want. So hopefully um, you'll get something out of this. Thanks for watching this.